Thanks for joining us on the DDS Faith Podcast. Our prayer is that as we discuss what God has to teach us through His Word, we can all learn how to deepen, defend, and share our faith in Jesus Christ.
So, what have been some highlights for you guys as you think back over these last 30 plus episodes? Some things that that stand out for you.
I personally like the last 15, 20 episodes more than the first couple. I think the first several were just, you could tell we were a little awkward.
Well, it was interesting because I went back and listened to like the first 3 or 4 last weekend while I was driving, and I had forgotten about some of the technical issues like the echoes with microphones and things. And plus, this is a new medium. Susan, that was on with us a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with her, and we just talked about how, every time a new form of media comes along, the church is right there, or they're faith-based organization. Well, both faith-based and not faith-based. I mean, radio, television, and now podcasts are kind of the latest way that people get the gospel out. Yeah,
it's
to
a
people.
Tool.
So
I did notice that in the past 35 episodes, my hairstyle's changed like 3 times. I started the first probably probably 10 episodes. I had like the kind of flow going on, like longer hair. And then I had the mullet for several episodes, and then now I'm back to this. I had a goatee and then no goatee. I was trying to grow up my beard last time, and I realized I wasn't a man enough yet, so I gave up.
Oh, good. I'm glad you noticed. We didn't have to tell him.
That's what stands out for you, is the way you looked?
No, I didn't notice that my hairstyle just changed, but I will say some of my favorite episodes have been, I really liked How Do We Rely on the Spirit. I really liked Why Can't God Just Save Everyone? That's a great question, and I liked the discussion we had on that one. I really liked having Rabbi Eric on
Passover.
The Passover episodes, and I also really liked the Why Do People Go to Hell? Talking about sin by nature, and those are 2 parts. So those are some of my personal favorites. And then I really like having the guests. I feel like it's been forever since we've recorded an episode with just us three.
3 of us.
I mean, it's seriously been forever, like probably several months.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm with you. Toward the end of the season, where we had Rabbi Eric on, and he talked a lot about Passover. That was a lot of new information for me as well.
Yeah, me too.
And he says, now that you know the information, you're accountable for it. Kind of like now that you know better, you have to do better.
There's some theology behind that statement too.
Yes. So that's probably a big highlight for me. And then, just going back and hearing, because I don't watch these. I just listen to the audio.
Me too.
So I'm not so much worried about my hairstyle and the way I look.
Well, no, I don't care.
I know I look good. That is my biggest contribution to this thing, is just this right here.
No, I don't care. I thought it was hilarious. Like, it just changed so much. Like, we started recording in early September, end of August, and I was like, I saw that. I was looking through the thumbnails on YouTube this morning or yesterday morning. And it was
you came in on
and it was like,
3.
oh my goodness, like I forgot I had the long hair, and then all of a sudden I have the mullet, and then I just cut my hair for no reason, and it's like goatee, no goatee. I got to settle down on something and just stick with it.
You're still young. You're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, but I'm finding myself.
You came in episode 3 and you're still here.
It was supposed to be 1 episode, I remember, and then Wes, we were out down here, and he was like, Just go back next week.
Well, because I think what we found out, because we did 2 with just us.
Yeah.
And then once we added a third person,
the third person really
I think
made it flow.
I think 3 is the perfect number. Maybe a guest is good, but I really did enjoy having Cooper on here, and Todd Russ.
I've liked all of our guests.
All the guests have been great.
I thought the Philippians 4:8 was a great episode. Todd has an awesome testimony. He shared his heart a lot. That was a great episode. Honestly, I really would encourage the listener, if you've made it this far into this podcast, which based on the comments of the pizza thing, only Andrew Gibbons makes it this far. So, Andrew, thank you. I appreciate it.
Our loyal listener.
Yeah. If you have made it this far, go ahead and comment your favorite episode.
We will ship him a Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yeah, I'm making a very clear announcement. We'll do it again. If you've made it this far into this episode, please go comment your favorite episode that we've done. Maybe comment something that even just stuck out to you in this episode, or comment a question that we could talk about. We're not like well, I'm not a theologian, but we love to talk about things and figure it out and dig into the Word and comment your favorite episode or what stuck out to you, a question we can answer, a topic or whatever. We'd love to have some feedback. Yeah. If you need counseling or you have questions about.
It'll be interesting to see what Andrew says.
I could talk about some of my favorite highlights.
Well, I was going to ask you. Yeah, I'm getting to you.
Here, I'll ask.
I'm getting to you. Wow. That's why I was doing it, because you started this. This was the ministry you felt called to start. And so my question is, here at the end of season 1, how do you feel? Are we on the road? Have we accomplished it, or do you think we're working toward that? Well, is it what you set out for it to be? Or oh Lord, here we go.
I never knew. I didn't really know what this was going to look like. It was really just obedience. It was just God said, "Do it." Okay, I'm going to do it. It was going to be just me. And I was just going to have some short.
It was going to be just you. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Well, I didn't want it to be. But I didn't have anything else, and then you and I had set you down, and I was just like, I remember I said, you are going to be a part of this ministry. I just know you are. I just somehow I just knew. And you're like, no, I don't think so. It took you like 10 episodes in.
Did it as a favor to you.
Yeah.
And then, because it's like, I'm just going to do it by myself. I'm like, no, those people need something good to look at.
I have noticed going on, there is beauty in this podcast. Like, I know that's a little cringe, but there is. You bring a lot of knowledge and theology and just experience in ministry. You bring a lot of
beauty.
Insight.
Yes,
physical beauty. you bring a lot of insight on just your experiences, especially as of lately, and also your experience in ministry. And then I bring more of a youth, and just I'm learning as I go. I have learned a lot just sitting here recording. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the viewers are probably like, that Eli, he's solid. But I'm serious in where I'm going here. Like, I've learned a lot just talking and listening to you guys. One of the biggest things that stuck out to me when we were recording, out of all of these episodes, was when both of you guys are going on the thought of, when you really don't know what God's telling you to do, go ask somebody that you trust and do what He tells you to do.
I don't remember that. Do you remember
he's
that?
He's talking about with the people that discipled us at the very beginning, how we felt led, and God said, go to this person and do whatever they tell you to do. That was a message from God, though. Like,
God has vessels, and that really stuck out to me. So the point of that being, I have learned a lot on this podcast.
I'm hoping that in season 2, the audience will have a chance to meet those people. The person that God said, go.
I asked him. He said I couldn't afford him. I said, I don't have to afford you.
We probably can't afford mine either, but at least we'll ask.
I think that sometime in the future we need to have an in-person something. If there was enough viewers genuinely interested, which right now we're probably not at that point.
Do you want to have Andrew? You just take Andrew to La Coretta.
Andrew, come on here, buddy.
Yeah, Andrew, we'll take you to La Coretta.
If Andrew is on here, we might as well not even.
With a live studio audience.
We might as
of one.
No, like.
Clap faster so it sounds like multiple people.
If Andrew is in here, there's probably no point in even posting it. Like,
he'd be like,
he's like,
I don't need to listen to that. I was there, so.
No, Gomer, Steven, and Andrew. No, but seriously, I've grown a lot and learned a lot, and I've enjoyed recording, and I've enjoyed planning, and I've especially enjoyed kind of leading the discernment.
Yeah, that discernment series was all you.
It's more towards the beginning.
And I've gotten a lot of feedback from people who have been very impressed with you and the things that you're saying and bringing to the podcast.
Well, I really do think that...
And I take full credit for it every time they say, I'm really impressed with that. Thank you. Thank you.
Taught him everything he knows. Yeah. No, seriously, I want to touch a little bit more sometime down the road on spiritual gifts, but I really do think one of mine is teaching. There's a difference between preaching and teaching. Teaching is more explaining, and preaching is more proclaiming.
Right.
That's a simple version, but I do think that's one of mine, and I've had that affirmed from other trustworthy believers. And through this podcast, I've seen that grow a little bit, and I've had some teaching opportunities, especially he kind of got me started on that years ago. Oh, like 2 years ago. So I think that at this table, there's a lot of gifts being offered. And I know you can teach. I know you have gifts in terms of, exhortation and things along those lines. And, there is beauty in this,
I said what I said. So let me get back to your question. Where we are now, how do you compare, what you had in your mind when you're putting this together? What we're at now, how does that compare between the two?
It's a whole lot more fun than I thought it would be.
No.
Not that I didn't think it was going to be fun, because I love digging into the Word, and I love talking about it. I could talk about it all day, every day. And, honestly, I look forward to every single time we just get together and record. Like, it's just such a good time. Mm-hmm. And, I appreciate both of you, because honestly, I think the only reason we have the listeners that we have is because, you guys, you help me explain things better. You hold me accountable, because there's been several times that I've said something and you'll just say, now, what do you mean by that? And I could very easily just continue to go on, and just think, oh, everybody's good, everybody understands, and you can't really do that. Like, when you're teaching, like say a Sunday school or whatever, you can look at people's faces and you can sort of kind of gauge, are people understanding? Did they understand what I just said?
They can literally ask you questions.
Yeah, exactly. Where in this case you can't see the viewer at all,
Right.
And I really I appreciate you guys a ton. Mm-hmm. And I look forward to continuing.
Yeah, me too.
To do this.
I've enjoyed it. It's my favorite time of the week. One of my favorites. Yeah, and I think we've gotten better going along with knowing, especially thanks to you. Jeremy has done a lot of behind the scenes work lately.
Mister, I'm not gonna do this.
At the beginning, we were going 1 week. At the beginning, we were going 1 week at a time. Okay, what are we going to record this week? Now it's like we know what we're recording for the next several months, which there's an advantage to that, because
we had.
Yeah.
Like I had a bunch of topics, and I had like a
relative
order, but not like what it is.
There's no roadmap. Awesome.
Right.
There's an advantage to this, because although we can tweak it as needed
when the Spirit moves,
right? So we can, right now with it being planned, we can prepare, we can have our hearts and minds set on what we're doing and pray through it.
That comes from 20 years plus of worship leading, where you make an order of service. Mm-hmm. Well, and you have worship teams, choirs, ensembles, whatever. You have to have things that you're preparing weeks in advance, because you just can't get up and wing it. It's like, if the Lord leads, we're going to do this day. But the plan could change. I mean,
and ours often does.
There was one, I think it was the church I was at in Knoxville that Tim and I were at. There was a song that I had ordered for the choir to do, and for whatever reason, it just kept getting pushed back. We never did it until a funeral service that I led after I had left the church. Came back, and it's like, oh, this song is perfect, because the family did not want a funeral service. They wanted a worship service. And I said, you remember that song we started to learn about 4 years ago, and we never did? But yes, I'm one of those. I like to have a map. I want to know where I'm going,
right,
and how we're going to get there, and what's the ETA? Knowing full well it could change, and it has changed a couple of times. We have episodes that turn out to be like this one. They turn out to be 2 parts, and it's just everything gets bumped back a week. So,
well, one of my favorite things about this podcast and what we're doing is, a whole year, maybe even longer before, I started making some notes of things that I felt like church people need to hear this, because we need to make some changes. And it was like, church people don't want to hear this.
Right.
And I just kind of kept it to myself, and I was writing all this stuff out. And I mean, I still have a lot more. And, I remember I sent you first. I sent you, it was.
Yes, you did.
I probably had 50 different topics with subtopics underneath those topics.
Right.
There was tons of things that we could talk about. And
I don't even think we've done a third of those yet.
No, not even a quarter.
Yeah,
honestly. And this is the favorite part that I've had is this is not just my podcast where I'm like, here's the topic that we're gonna do, and they're like you just took the reins and you were like. We need to do a discernment series. It's like, go for it. Do it. Knock it out, man.
Well, he came and said, I feel led to do this.
And it was great.
Okay, do it.
And
then
glad,
I hijacked one episode and, took off and just
I'm glad that you guys have felt so comfortable doing that.
I was not comfortable when I did that.
Well, I mean, that you felt like you could. And then now, we're about to announce our next series.
Yes, so this is our season finale. We're going to take the next 2 weeks off. We just have a lot of things going on in our lives, and we're going to take a couple of weeks off to get that situated and
working on the new studio.
Well, I was going to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Like when we come back,
I am excited.
The first episode of the new season will be the first week in June, first Tuesday in June.
Yeah.
And we will have a new studio. So the black curtains will be gone.
Hey,
the black table will be gone. Eli is so excited. But
yes,
you know what?
I'm so sick of this table.
You're going to be here. You're going to be in the new studio for like maybe a week or two, 3, and then you're leaving.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about, that's actually what we're going to talk about.
Be a good episode.
First episode went back.
Yeah.
You are going to come on with Cooper, who was on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you all are going to share about a mission trip that you're going on.
Yep.
And
we're going on together. Yeah.
He'll be gone for like 6 weeks. So we also need to announce that we are going to start having open auditions for his replacement. So if you would like to audition to replace him in season 2, leave a comment there in the YouTube comments, or just, I'm assuming we still have social media. So you can contact through social media, say, hey, I want to audition. I haven't figured out, though, if we just bring a new person in or if we do him like, I call it the Darren on Bewitched thing. For those of you who watched Nick at Night growing up, the actor who played Darren on Bewitched had to leave the show, and they brought a completely new actor in and acted like it was the same guy. And so the whole audience was so.
We could get a dummy.
We just get
a dummy, and
let's just get
it, and just put him there, and just.
No, I will just get a completely different person in every week and call him Eli.
No, I will say one thing I have learned that I didn't expect going into this, especially once I was coming back every week.
That was an unexpected thing.
Was there's a lot more behind the scenes to ministry that I didn't realize. Not just technology. Editing aside. Sometimes it takes a toll, but most of the time it's a blessing. I've noticed that. Sometimes I go home and I'm discouraged. I'm like, this is not going well. I'm OCD and I'm not happy with the organization of this. I don't think that content was that good tonight. Nobody seems to care. That's discouraging. But
you have been the harshest critic, which has been good. I mean,
what do you mean?
As far as content and things go, you'd be like,
oh, you mean like a good critic? I
right.
thought you're okay.
Right.
Yeah. But there's also times where I'm like, this really is a blessing as I'm growing, and whether if there's just one person out there that's really growing from this, then that's all I really care about, and that that'll go into the series that you're leading.
It may be years down the road before the person that God has designed to hear certain things, they may not hear it for another few years. Like I know there was a podcast I listened to last year that was actually recorded 4 years ago, but I just stumbled across it last year. So you never know once you put things out there.
As I've grown in the Word and grown in discipleship, and I'm discipling others now more consistently, it takes a toll sometimes. And it's like right now I'm exhausted, like not physically, but just like I'm spiritually exhausted. But there's blessings in that because you do fix your eyes on the upward calling of Christ, and that's what your hope is fixed in. And when you realize that exhaustion kind of becomes worth it. And a lot of times when you're discipling others, and this is kind of a new concept for me, but you almost feel like you're carrying a lot of burdens that aren't your own. And with this podcast, there is a burden to it because I am held accountable with everything I say, and I know that other people's spiritual walks are going to be affected by it.
And that's why, for me, it's important for transparency.
Yeah.
I've spent enough years in church, playing church, saying what I was expected to say. It's like, you know what? No. I said what I said.
I'm going to say the truth, whatever it is. You know what?
And I will probably say it again.
And guess what? Surprise, we're humans.
We need to do a series on joy. And that's not going to be a one episode joy.
We may do it while you're gone.
That's deep. Okay,
who knows?
Yeah, I am excited to just reference there. Me and Cooper are leaving for Portugal for 6 weeks, so we'll do an episode before we leave, kind of talking about what we're going to be doing, specifically how you guys can pray for us if you would like, and then we'll also call in sometime when we're down there if we can find some time, and we'll give an update on how things are going. And then when we get back, I guess maybe.
When you get back, you'll give.
I'm excited. It'll be a great opportunity, and me and Cooper are really excited.
Probably going to be on this podcast more than he's going to be on his own podcast for a while.
And for reference, Cooper was on the Guarding Your Heart episode several episodes ago, which for us is airing next week. Wes, kind of tell me what some of your favorite moments or episodes have been.
I don't have a favorite episode.
He likes them all.
That's a good.
It's like you in Scripture. He likes it all. When you
one of my favorite
verses. This is my favorite verse.
My favorite's the first 35 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be gone next week, and then come back with season 2 in the new studio. And so have your pets spayed and neutered. Help control the pet population.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening and being faithful to this so far, especially if you've made it this far into this.
Yes, thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. Thank you guys, seriously.
And Steven.
Yeah. Love you guys. Steven and Andrew and Mom.
Okay, bye. Listening. For more information on DDS Faith Ministries, please visit our website at ddsfaith.org and follow us on social media. Thanks.